Hi, welcome back to Community Conversations. I'm Tina Howard, and today I have special guests that we're going to have so much fun with. I have Mr. Larry Fouch, his youngest daughter Maya Fouch Geth, and Maya's husband Ed Geth. So welcome to the show, and I thank you all for being here today.
Thank you.
We have a good crowd over here at the table. This is going to be fun. So I'm going to start with Mr. Larry Fouch, who's on my right. Now, I have always called you Coach because when we moved up here, I would see you at the Y, and I would see you at a restaurant. I would see you at Walmart, and everywhere I saw you, everybody would say, "Hey, Coach." So I started calling you Coach. Okay. And so you just told me just now that you didn't coach for all that long, just for a little while.
A couple of years of middle school, but now my son Earl, they probably get me confused with Earl.
Well, I don't know. I think they call you both Coach. So you have a distinguished family here in Hart County. You were born here.
Yes, well, Elbert Hart, yes.
Elbert and Hart, yeah,
born in Hart,
that area.
Yeah.
And you told me earlier that you were the ninth out of 10 children.
Yes.
So that was
5
fun.
boys, 5 girls, and I was the 5th boy and the 9th child.
Wow. So what was that like, living with that many kids in the family?
Well, I didn't really. They had some of the older ones had moved out.
Okay, so you weren't all in the same place at the same time.
No, because some of them had moved on. Yeah. My older brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who were you closest to in your family?
Probably the brother right above me.
Yeah. Y'all were close in
Cody.
age?
Yes.
What kind of stuff?
Close in age, and yeah.
What kind of stuff?
Because we were together the whole time. Fish, hunt, wrestle.
Chase girls.
No.
You told me earlier, and this might be a good time to introduce the shirt. I love the shirt.
Oh, thank you.
And we're going to screenshot part of the shirt in a minute. When you came in, I asked you about the shirt, and you told me it is the shirt for the Hart County High School Bass Club.
Yes, Bass Club.
Bass Fishing Club, is that
Bass Fishing Club, yes.
And so, and you told me that you enjoy fishing a lot. You grew up fishing.
Actually, we fished back then for a living. We had to eat.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I loved it, and I kept fishing. I'm fishing now.
Did you take Maya fishing when she was little?
Oh yes, of course. Maya went every Saturday morning. We got ready. They got us up early. I would load the 4 kids up, and we'd go hook the boat up, get breakfast, and we go fishing every Saturday morning.
Yeah, I fished in the fishing rodeos.
Yeah, and fishing rodeos also on Saturdays. Yeah, once a year they have fishing rodeos, and she would always win pretty much the largest fish and the most fish.
There's money in those bass tournaments now.
Yes, and for little kids, there were prizes.
Oh, sweet.
That I was excited about. Bicycles and new fishing rods. And
nice.
I meant to win everything.
Yeah.
Very competitive.
Very competitive. Good for you.
Yeah.
And so the shirt comes from your son, Earl, Coach. The other Coach Fouch is at the middle school. Is he involved with the...
Well, not really. He wanted to sponsor. Be one of the sponsors.
So the screenshot that I'm going to show has a picture on it. So you'll see this picture, and that picture is of
Larry Fouch. Wait, but not now. Back at some point in my life.
Back in the day. And that's great. That's a nice testament. So you told me earlier that you have 4 kids.
Yes.
And that you and your lovely wife had, Earl is the oldest.
Yes.
And then, he's coaching at the middle school.
He's coaching. He's teaching and coaching. He's head football coach at the middle school.
Okay. So that's how everybody knows him.
Yes.
Yeah. And then your next oldest child is
Monica.
And Monica doesn't live in Hartwell anymore.
She's in Clayton County. She teaches in Clayton County.
She's a teacher too.
Yes.
Now I'll go back to Earl. Earl had a scholarship to UGA.
Yes, Earl played football at UGA.
He says it like everybody.
Oh,
yes. Yes, he has it, of course.
It was a scholarship. We didn't have to pay.
And he football, right?
Yeah, football.
Well, good. That's
played with Coach Goff, Ray Goff.
That's not easy to get,
Well, he had quite a few letters, so he had some other choices, but UGA runs in our blood. So.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Red.
Go Dogs.
Yeah.
And then Monica, you said, played basketball at Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, yes, scholarship.
Fantastic. And she was a scholarship athlete.
Yes, in her senior year, she was the leading scorer leading rebounder, and actually she won the academic. She's an academic award also,
Oh, wow.
so 3 awards her senior
Oh,
year.
my goodness.
Had a great career at Emmanuel.
Smart.
Great
Okay.
career.
And she's an educator too in
Yes,
Atlanta.
in Atlanta, yes.
And then the next eldest is Kenya.
Yes,
And Kenya Fouch is also at the middle school.
yes,
And he's an educator too.
yes, yes.
And you told me he started at Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
in
started at
football.
Georgia Tech, played with Coach Lewis, and then blew his knee out. Then he wound up finishing at Furman with Coach Johnson. At
Wow.
Furman. So he got his degree from Furman University.
Fantastic. Another scholarship athlete
Yes.
in the
yes.
family. And then the youngest.
Just sign the scholarship.
Just-
A lot easier to sign the check now.
Yeah.
Much easier.
You must have had your own pen after that. All those signing
Oh,
ceremonies.
yes. I tell you what, it's
Wow.
great every year.
Yeah.
Sign the
That's
scholarship.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And then Maya is your
Yes,
youngest.
and then Maya also, we told her if she got first of all finished with honors and got a scholarship, then we'll buy her a new car. I should have said car, but I said new car, and she held it. Yeah, she held it. So we had to buy her a new car.
And he
Not
did.
just any car, a new car. And what did you get?
I got a Chevrolet Blazer,
Woo, nice.
just what I wanted,
Just what you wanted.
with balloons.
Oh, that is great. Did you feel pressure being the youngest to be the scholar athlete too?
Not at all. I mean, I didn't feel pressure. It just kind of came naturally. But I didn't feel pressure. No.
4 children, 4 college graduate children, 4 college graduate athlete children, scholarship athlete children. What were you feeding everybody at home?
Soul food. Collard greens and turnip greens and
Which is why we're having issues now. We're no longer athletes because we still eat soul food.
And Maya is also at the middle school.
I am.
And what do you teach at the middle school?
I teach 7th grade science and social studies.
So your kids might be watching you going,
Oh, yes, babies!
I bet they love you. That's great.
And what we did do though, we played a lot in the yard. That's one thing. I put up a basketball goal
Okay.
in the yard, so they played a lot. And other people came over. We had kept a yard full of folk, so they learned fundamentals.
All sports, though. We played softball out, baseball, and football. And he would set up for us to cast with the fishing rods and give us like targets to hit. So we did everything. Look, you forgot about it.
Yeah. Like, what did he put a bucket out there?
Like a
Cast
bucket
into
for you to
it?
cast into. And we played dodgeball, like everything you could think of
Yeah.
right in the yard.
Outside. See, I don't think kids understand that now. We didn't sit inside when I was young. We were out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bad for mom or dad to go run along and play, because that's what they said.
Right.
You know? So you were outside a lot doing
lot.
things.
And working on fundamental things. Like I played softball as well, so he would take me to the field and he would hit balls to me just to make sure if I was struggling on my free throws, then he got somebody to open the gym because we need to work on free throws.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you have a weakness, it wasn't okay to just have that.
You had to
We
work
worked
through
on
it.
it. We worked on it and got it right.
Wow. Did he ever tell you things you needed to improve on? Like,
Always.
you better work on that.
Yes, and we went to work. We went and worked on it. I'm very, very thankful for that.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
have him and my mom and
Yeah. Was your mom athletic too?
no, but she was very brilliant.
Yeah,
So she
okay.
did
So
all
she
the
was the
schoolwork
scholar
stuff.
part.
So that's what it was. Since she was a teacher and she got off when we got out of school, we did our homework stuff. We went over spelling words, everything academic, and then when he got home at like 5:30, then we're outside because we're done with the schoolwork.
That's a workable plan right there.
It worked.
That is
It
good.
did work.
And Ed, you joined the family a year ago by
I did.
marrying Maya.
I did.
Congratulations on your 1-year anniversary.
Thank you.
Great decision.
That was a good decision, wasn't it? Right in.
That is good. Now, how did the two of you meet?
We were actually dancing, and I was actually, trying to get my groove on.
Yeah?
And he kind of pulled me in because he wanted to talk to me, and then we ended up being really good friends for a long time.
Oh, so you started out as friends.
Yes.
So when you first met her, and were you thinking, I'm going to marry this woman, or were you thinking she looks like she's having fun?
No, and I don't want to put anybody's flaws on blast, but she's very sarcastic. She does. She's got a lot of and so
And the sass.
Good word.
Yeah.
I'll go with that. She's very sassy, and so that made it easy to be friendly with her because she's kind of like one of the guys. She loves sports, obviously. So
Okay, that's got to be appealing.
that's very appealing.
Right?
That's very appealing. You don't think that at first. It's just like, man, I want to go watch a game. Sure, let's watch a game.
Yeah.
And it just kind of grew from there.
That is really cool.
Yep.
That's good.
And I thought he talked too much. But what he would do is when we were eating, then I could eat my food and then some of his because he
I
talked
was
so
too
much.
busy talking.
So I thought it was a
So I
win-win.
paid for the food, and then she ate hers and mine. That's
That
how
is
it worked.
awesome. I love that. Now, did you grow up like Maya, outdoors and playing
Yes,
sports and all of
absolutely,
that?
absolutely.
So you have that in common.
We have that in common. I was very motivated. Now, I didn't come from quite like the family where every kid got a scholarship. I'm the oldest,
Okay.
so I had to be the first, and
You're the trendsetter.
I was the trendsetter. So
the
it
trailblazer.
was a trial and error, and I didn't come from the best economic condition. I grew up in Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay.
So I'm not from around here. I'm a city boy.
Okay.
As
All
they
right.
pick on me.
You call him City Boy?
Yes, because I didn't grow up fishing or hunting or anything like that. All I grew up doing was going outside, like you say, playing basketball, playing football, running around in the yard. So we did have that shared experience and just staying after it,
And how
every
did
day.
you end up coming south?
Oh, that's a good question. I ended up getting a scholarship to the
Another scholarship?
Another scholarship to the University of North Carolina. So that brought
now
me from
that's
Virginia
big.
to
Wait, let's let that-
let it marinate. Let it sit in. Let's let it sit in.
Yeah, let's not gloss over that. That's big. And so, what was the scholarship in? What sport?
Basketball.
In basketball.
Yes.
So when you were young and you were out there shooting hoops with your friends,
Yes.
did you know you were good?
No, I knew I was tall.
Okay.
But I was
That's a good start.
yeah, that's a good start. And I was extremely clumsy because I had these big feet and these long gangly arms and didn't know what to do with them. I remember from my 7th grade year to my 8th grade year, I went from 6'2" to 6'6" in one summer. And you know how
Wait, 7th grade to 8th grade?
Yes.
You were the tallest kid, and you were taller than your teachers.
Absolutely, by far.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
Wow.
a big old kid.
You were?
And you know how moms, you like to kind of shop early, beat the trend.
Yes.
So she's buying school clothes for a 6'2" kid.
Yes. And then you're in the high water.
And then, everything looks like this
Yes.
when I put it on. And so she had to buy a whole nother set of clothes. So she wouldn't.
That's a lot of growing in 1 year.
So she's frustrated about the clothes. My dad is looking like, man, this kid.
Get some size on
I
it.
get some size on it. He's
Your
growing.
mother's like, doggone it, I just bought you those shoes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. My
So-
kids went through that time period too, where you
Yes,
couldn't keep them in
couldn't keep 'em in shoes.
because
Yep.
they were growing so fast.
Yeah.
And so, when did you realize you were good at basketball?
I would say I had a coach in high school who really believed in me. He saw potential, and I started getting to where I believed I was good about my sophomore year. I had natural aggression. I was tall,
Competitive spirit.
competitive spirit, and I worked until I got, not till I got it right. I worked until I couldn't get it wrong. That was automatic.
That's good.
Thank you.
We should put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good, really.
I had to figure out things. I'm a coach, so that's one of my things. But yeah, I did. I worked until I could not get stuff wrong, and until it became automatic. And that's pretty much how I feel like I got better and how I got noticed, because I was meticulous about doing things over and over and over and over.
Kind of like Maya, y'all were drilling on things. Whether it was passing or,
Yeah, it breeds success. That's a
good.
common thing.
See, it does not come easy though, does it?
No.
I mean, it doesn't.
It does not.
You're not going
Hard
to get
work.
better. Right.
It's no secret. It's
Right.
no magic formula.
Right. And so your coach was sort of your mentor in a way,
was.
and he was the first to recognize that you had some ability.
Yep, Jim
Did he
Harvey.
set you any expectations? Like, college or scholarships?
He did. He showed me that, you know, I could basketball if I stayed at it.
Yeah.
If I kept good grades and a good attitude, but basketball could change my living condition. He said you can go from this to this, and he took me to like a nice neighborhood and said you could live here because of basketball, and that kind of clicked in my head. And then he took me to a college campus. He took me to James Madison University. Then he took me to the University of North Carolina, Charlotte. Then he took me to University of North Carolina, and it was over. That was it. That's
This I like.
This I like.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yes.
That's quite a school.
Yeah.
But now your situation was very different from the Fouches because I don't know how your first son trailblazed with that UGA scholarship, but after that, that was sort of set up in your family, and you were probably the first one to have a scholarship in your family.
That's correct. And then my brothers and sisters didn't quite do that.
Yeah.
But they were well accomplished. My sister was an academic, and she got an academic scholarship over me. And then my brother, he was a chef.
That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah. So
So were your parents, when you got really good at basketball, were they like, "Oh, you're kidding. This could be big"?
My mom, not so much. My mom was like, her mom, she made sure the schoolwork was done, made sure I did all my chores, made sure I went to church.
Okay.
You know, she took care of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Now my dad was at everything. You know, he went to every game, and like Mr. Fouch, you know, he found a gym. Hey, wake up. You know, he hated seeing people sleep in the bed, like you know, on Saturday morning, same thing. Yeah, get up, time to get up. Let's go to a gym. And he just always kept me doing something.
That's good. Like Maya, are you grateful for that part of
Absolutely.
discipline?
Absolutely.
Because it wasn't just your dad or just your mom, it was both of them, just like you were saying about it was both of them.
And we have another common ground, the church. Like, we were both in church like
a lot. 5
out of the 7 days for something, for a Bible study or a choir practice, or just to be there to look around. Just we were both in church a lot.
Home, just
it was. So just like she said, the time from school, you go to school, then after school, you're doing your homework. Your mom's making sure homework chores are done. Then your dad's making sure athletics done. Then it's like, oh, time to go to church. So it kept all the, I guess, the mischief or anything else.
Yeah, you didn't have time. You were
scheduled.
Yep. That's good. You were talking about sharecropping when we first started talking earlier. You were talking about missing school because you were everybody was working.
Oh yes, everybody in the community, you know, all around, everybody. We in the country, sharecroppers, or in the rural, sharecroppers.
The mindset from sharecropping, which is what, you know, a lot of people did in agricultural areas, the mindset of sharecropping is you're thinking about what you can eat. You know, your next meal, you're thinking of getting through the day. At what point did you turn from thinking of how to get through the day to thinking more ahead? Do you know?
Basically, when my dad got blind, was blinded, and we stopped sharecropping.
Okay.
And at that point,
was he blinded in an accident?
Yes, a hunting accident.
Oh goodness.
Well, he had already lost one eye, and then a stray shot, just from a shotgun, hit him in the other eye.
Oh gosh.
Accident.
Were you young?
Yes, very young, 12, 13.
Did that? I guess that scared you to death.
It did. But the good thing about it is we stopped farming. Stopped sharecropping. My mother went to work, so to take care of everything.
Yeah. Sometimes the bad things end up being, there's a silver lining to some of the bad things, and that stopped your sharecropping. Because as you said, you worked from the time you got up from a little bitty kid, from the time you could drag a sack, you were up and working, and you would miss school.
Yeah. And had he not lost his sight, I probably wouldn't have graduated from high school, or I would have graduated just, very low level.
But because you would have been expected to pull your weight around the farm.
Well, I still would have been, out of school, 80 days a year. I would have missed 80 days a year.
80 days a year. Can you imagine that now as an
Wow.
educator?
No,
80 days out of a school year?
Yeah, that kid's not.
That was a way of life, though, 80 days.
And as you said earlier, you were hardly the only one.
Oh, everybody.
The school bus driver, you said, didn't even need to get the bus out. Get a car
Go around in the car.
to pick up the few kids that weren't farming.
That weren't farming.
Yeah, it was so different.
And he was able to leave that life and graduate as valedictorian of his class.
Valedictorian, yeah.
And my mom was the salutatorian of their class. So we didn't
smartest
really,
people.
you asked me if there was pressure, we didn't really have any excuse not to be great academically if he lived that type
Hearing
of
that
life.
story, yes.
And he was able to be successful after farming and doing all that.
And missing all the school you
Missing all the
missed.
school.
Right, working and putting himself through college and playing baseball all at the same time. I mean, they took a lot of pressure off us just being great, and we had to.
You had good examples.
We did.
Yeah.
And I got to say something about men of that era, because Mr. Fauci and my dad are the same age, and the guys of that era, y'all guys just have amazing work ethic. They don't, my dad is 79, he still can't be without a job. He's retired twice, and then he just like, I gotta go work. I can't.
You're right, though.
Yeah, they do. Like, I know you can't just sit around all
Well, no,
day.
you see, after the 8th grade, it had not been for that, my dad, starting the 9th grade years when I was able to go 100%. So at that point, to school. And fortunately, the grades didn't start counting until the 9th grade, for the highest average.
Were you a little bit behind in the beginning, or had
Not
you managed
really.
to stay?
I had managed, and then starting 9th grade, I was there all the time, so got caught up pretty quick. Had great teachers.
Valedictorian.
Had great
Valedictorian.
teachers. Had great teachers.
Anyone
teachers.
stick out, or any
I think
two?
all of them. The Hugheses. I don't know if you heard of the Hugheses in the county, but the Hugheses, Mamie Hill, just so many great teachers we had.
The training
Miss
school
White.
is sort of famous for the many things that it taught its students. I know this from Miss Loretta King. She's talked about the training school, somebody that you graduated with.
Yes,
And she talked about how there would be, it would be not only the academic side, but the arts too.
Oh, yes.
And you were taught how to comport yourself when you went places to sing, or you went places to debate, or whatever it was that you did. So you had a really good all around. And what happened after high school? You graduated high school.
Graduated high school and went to college. And I got played basketball. We didn't have a football team in high school.
Okay.
And I almost tried out for football in college. But I did play Sandlot. We didn't have a baseball team either in high school. But I played enough baseball to get real good at it. So when I went to college and tried out, I was able to start as a freshman.
I'm just going to say,
Baseball.
that's kind of gutsy that you're going to college and you come from a high school that did not have a baseball team, and you try out for the baseball team in college.
Yes, and made the team because I
made the team.
I had played Sandlot. We had teams on here around, like in the summers, Sundays, Saturdays, and Sunday afternoons. So I
You must
played
have
a lot.
been really good, though.
Got really good, pretty good baseball player. So we went on with
Pretty
college.
good. He's so humble.
Well, then the main thing, though, I had the tuition part was what I had to be concerned about. My parents were very poor, so I couldn't get any money from them. So I had to actually work my way through. So Monroe really helped me out. They had a summer program where college students could come and work during the summers.
I guess it's Tenneco now, but
Well, Tenneco, Tenneco
Yeah.
now, but we
Yeah.
worked during the summers. I got enough to pay for my fall tuition.
Okay.
And then in the fall, I worked in the cafeteria washing dishes
Sure.
for 4 years. So I worked in Monroe 4 years and washed dishes during the school year to pay for spring tuition. So that was just a way of life.
That was the way you did
to
it.
get through school. Yeah.
But aren't you better off doing that than having a load of student debt coming out like a lot of the kids now?
I tell you what, it's just unreal now.
Of course, college is a whole lot more now.
It's
Gosh.
taking them so long to pay it off.
I know
Yeah,
it.
because they're trying to start a family, and then that bill.
That's
having that
hanging
bill
over
on it.
them.
So that's why I'm proud of them. They all got
know.
scholarships, and
I know.
they all
Wonderful.
didn't have to pay for it. So when they finished school, everything was over with.
Yes, exactly.
yeah,
And a new car to boot.
Yeah, the new car. I didn't get the new car.
That's good.
But sharecropping, you learn a valuable experience. Work ethic, you learn how to work.
Yeah.
We worked from sun up, sundown, all day long. And everybody did it, so it wasn't anything unusual. To work all day for kids on up, to work.
You said earlier that you're grateful for that experience.
I tell you what, I wouldn't to look back at that experience, and it's just so valuable, just such a valuable experience, and it helped me so much because of the work ethic and to respect people now, and just everything. And another big thing is my spiritual life really helped during all of that time, because we had to pray a lot. We had to pray a lot because we didn't know how things were going to turn out. So we prayed.
Did your parents pray a lot?
They did, yeah. They did. Yeah, had to pray.
And he had a life partner. My mom has passed now, but they were friends in school. And
Did you know her all the way through, or just in the?
No, I didn't. We are in school. We had, in the 7th grade, a lot of the city kids who had done well, they were going every day. So they had a big acceleration when I was in the 7th grade. That means, so she was in the 6th grade. So a lot of the kids that were doing well, the city folk kind of moved up. They just skipped a grade. They got accelerated. So.
And your mom was one of those?
Yeah, my mom was accelerated into my classroom. I had heard a little about her, but I didn't really know her. So she moved into my classroom, and then we got to be friends the rest of that year. And then the 8th grade, we became closer. And then the 9th grade, a little bit closer. The one thing, a lot of things she didn't eat. Like she didn't eat rutabagas and a lot of greens and see. And from the country, so I would kind of hang with her because I would get half of her food.
There's a theme here.
There's a team. See how there you go.
Really, a lot of the young ladies didn't eat a lot of vegetables and things, so that was.
Well, they were town kids, probably, right?
Yeah,
and they were not. And you grew up eating anything that would grow. You would eat.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a good meal then.
The story I heard is that he had a girlfriend and she had a boyfriend, and they broke up with them because they were spending all their time together.
I like that story.
So the 9th grade year, we went through closer and closer. And then in the 10th grade year is when I realized that's going to be my wife. And she didn't know it, but
she didn't know it.
So all of 10th grade, in 11th grade, what'd you say? I got married right after college.
So you waited all the way through college to get married. You didn't get married right out of high school. You were working, playing baseball, doing everything you could to get through college. And where was she when you were in college?
She was in Fort Valley. She went to Fort Valley State.
She also was in college.
About 100 miles
then.
away. Yeah, she was in college also.
Was that hard being a partner in college? Or were you just so busy?
It was not. I was very busy, and I did see her like once a month.
Yeah.
She would come home. I would come, holidays and things like that.
Yeah.
Plus, that gave me a chance to meet other folk.
Yeah.
So you're royal.
But it was good. It was good that we were part all that time.
Yeah, because you could grow.
And she actually met other folk and other people too.
Yeah. Because you have to be sure, right?
Exactly.
Sure.
I know what you mean.
Have to be sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what you mean. And then you got back together after college and got married.
Yes.
How wonderful.
She worked that same summer. She worked the summer before her senior year, and we both worked the summer after our senior year. After we got married, worked at Tenneco. So I actually worked 5 summers at Tenneco.
Okay.
They got us to where we started teaching in the fall.
And then
in the integrated situation.
And then you were
When we first
both teachers after the school's integrated, and that was. Were you both at the junior high then?
No, she was actually at Eagle Grove.
She was at Eagle Grove.
Her first year was at Eagle Grove.
Okay.
The next year we moved to Hartwell, and she moved to Hartwell Elementary.
Okay.
And I stayed at the middle school for 6 years.
Okay. Now, you told me earlier that you taught for 6 years.
Yes.
You would have taught longer, however, Tenneco, Monroe, whatever it was back then, came calling.
Well, no, actually Newton plant.
Newton plant,
Milliken
okay.
Company.
Milliken, that's what it was.
Yeah, the spring of '76. They gave me a call. HR guy there gave me a call and wanted me to come out and look at their program. And I said, well, I won't hurt anything. So I went out and looked at it, and everything looked pretty good. I came back home and talked to my wife about it, and And with the third child coming that summer, my salary automatically doubled with Milliken. And we just said, well, I could always, maybe get back into teaching if I didn't like it. So I decided to just take a chance. And I went, got into the management program. Had a great career at Milliken.
Fantastic.
Great career. 33 years.
33 years
Retired,
at Milliken.
Yeah, retired.
In the management,
program. I
Good
went
for you.
Quality control, wound up being the senior production leader at all of the production, all of the people.
Fantastic. That's a big job.
Yeah, it's, and we ran it well, so. And as a matter of fact, they're still running now, still running well.
That's great.
Yeah, they're still doing a good job.
And the nice thing, I guess, was it left you a little family time that
Yes.
you could be with your family in the evenings and the weekends and things like that.
Yes,
Which
yes,
is good.
yes.
That's good. And your wife, your mom continued to teach?
Yes.
And did she retire in the school system?
After 32 years.
32.
32 years. Retired from Harvard Elementary.
Educator thing is in your blood, isn't it?
In their blood.
Isn't it? My goodness.
And they're very good
It's
at
just
it.
something I've always, even in college, I wanted to teach, and I wanted to come back home to teach. It had some good folk to lead me, some of my great teachers.
Yeah. Well, a lot of your siblings, you said, moved to Chicago
Yes,
to
and
pursue jobs.
jobs,
Because
because
the
they-
economics were better in the 50s in Chicago because you didn't do farming. I mean, the sharecropping was no,
sharecropping.
gonna
All you did was just had food to eat and clothes, to buy. Just enough money to buy clothes and buy food, and no money for anybody else.
I'm about to say, you didn't
everything went
live
into
outside of that. You didn't live outside of food and clothes. Huh?
Yeah,
But what we
just
had to
that,
do,
yeah.
we had a store, Parks Brown store.
Okay.
So what everybody did, during the winter months, they kind of went up and got food and just signed the list. He kept up with everything. So when you came back and start farming, then you paid your debt off. But it was always, you really never had anything else. They didn't have money for the kids, So what they did, as soon as they got old enough to either quit school or whatever, they went up north and got jobs. Got
There
General
was
Motors.
industry.
All of them went to
General
General
Motors,
yeah.
okay.
General Motors.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, they made good livings up
they
there.
did, yeah.
Good living.
But you didn't want to do that.
Well, I had a chance during high school to go up during the summers. We weren't farming then, so I went up every summer.
Okay.
And although I went to see Cub games, I went to see stage shows, Temptations, James Brown, everybody. But then I came back home, went to school, and the 4 years of going up there was enough to know that I could not live in Chicago. I mean, you would pass somebody and speak, hello, they would look back at you and say, what in the world?
That's not-
What? Why are you speaking to me? I was used to just saying hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Well, hello, just pass by and say, you all do it now, right? Hello.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just-
You riding the
And
wave.
you really likes hot weather, and it's 20 below right now.
Right
It's
now.
so cold in Chicago.
Yeah.
We're glad we're not there now.
Thank God for Hart County. Oh,
I know.
yeah, it's cold, but not anything
Not
compared to
here.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Right on down.
That is great. Now,
Yeah.
Maya, did you ever think about living someplace else? Did you
I'm
grow up
living in
here?
Salt Lake City, Utah.
What? That's way out of here.
I was teaching there, doing the same thing, but
3 years. Yeah, 3 years.
And Salt Lake City's beautiful, isn't
and
it?
I loved it,
Yeah.
but there were no Faucis there, so I had to come back.
Mama was not there.
Like my whole check went to the airlines.
Yeah.
Because I was coming home like every other month.
When I say they are a tight family unit, that's one thing I know. When they are
Yes.
tight.
And I cried every time I went back home. As much as I loved it and I loved my job,
Yeah.
I just could not stand to be away from them.
She cried, and her mom cried.
I believe you cried a little bit too, man.
When we go up there, she cried, and
I didn't want them to leave.
Oh, that's nice though. And how about you? After college, where did you end
I
up?
traveled. I went.
did. You went
a
all
lot of
over.
places. Yeah, I ended up. I didn't make. I had NBA aspirations.
Of course.
And it's really tough to get in the NBA. Like it's a
Yeah.
small.
Well, it's tough to get a scholarship to.
It is. It is. But I was fortunate enough that I was good enough to play in Europe. That's where a lot of guys
Oh,
go
excellent.
overseas.
Yeah.
Yes. So I went to my first country was Israel. Went to
Wow.
Israel.
What was that like?
It was nice
Yeah?
until there was a bombing of the embassy, and so the street was like a military war zone, the gym out. Yeah, it was very terrifying. Like I was
Ready to go.
ready to go.
Yeah.
Right.
I would have been as well. Pull the plug. I'm done.
I called my agent, hey, get me out of here. Like,
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. But it was good for the time being. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Then I go from there to Sweden.
Oh, Sweden. Wow.
is beautiful.
That's on my bucket list.
Oh, you'll love it. It's very
I don't know
nice.
if I'll ever get there, but-
It's one of the cleanest cities you'll live in, but also it's like Chicago right now,
So cool.
year round.
Oh. Never mind.
Right,
Never
exactly.
mind.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a good
It just
place to
sounds
visit.
good.
Yeah, it sounds good. It's
Yeah, a lot of snow.
A lot of snow. Yeah, you'll see snow on the ground from November to like March. Like it's just, that's all you see. You don't even know what the grass looks like during those months. But the people are very nice.
Yeah.
It's a very nice city.
Yeah.
I think.
then where'd you go?
And then I went from Sweden to Saudi Arabia, which that wasn't a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
You go from really cold to really hot.
Really, really hot, like dust storms.
dust,
and Muslim countries.
But that was an experience.
It was an experience.
I mean, that's what
I
you
said.
were in it for.
Yeah, and you learn a lot of cultural
stuff,
and then you appreciate America so much more. And then I finished off in Singapore.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it was, and
That would have been interesting.
Yes.
Did you develop a taste for exotic food?
I did.
Like
I
what?
did.
Exotic food and exotic women. That's what I do.
It's a family show.
But culturally, that's so different from where we are, right?
It is. It's much different. I know in Singapore was the most interesting because they literally treated me like a freak of nature. Like it was like people admired me, but it was a little different than, hey, how tall are you? It was more like,
Oh.
and little kids walking up to you, touching you, and then running away. So you kind of felt like a sideshow.
Yeah, oh, wow, I bet so.
Yeah, but they treated me very nice. And it was much, but again, you appreciate the culture, the food. Like you get some stuff you'll like, and some stuff you like
not so much.
Not so much.
What do you remember liking a lot that you wish you had here?
You know what was really good? In Singapore, they had shark fin soup. Exactly.
Doesn't sound good.
Doesn't sound good, but I'm telling you, it's better than it sounds. It's better than it
They
sounds.
probably put spices in it.
Yeah, they put spices in it. And it's
Shark fin
shark
soup?
fin soups.
Probably good for you, right?
Yeah, it's very
Did you ever
healthy.
catch a shark when you're fishing?
Oh yes.
Did you ever make the soup?
No.
Not just shark fin soup. He's never made any soup
I didn't make so.
or anything else.
I made coffee. Come on,
did.
man.
Hey, you make it really great.
I make coffee. I can't. I'm not a
Good
cook.
coffee.
I'm not a cook.
No? Okay.
You can catch it, but can't cook it.
Yeah, I can catch it.
Yeah.
I can catch it, and I can fillet it, and then turn it over to the cook.
Well, that's all right. That's a skill set.
It is.
I don't think I can do that, but
He's great at so many things.
yeah.
Well, Maya married her daddy because I can't cook either.
He can.
But I can't even catch it, so that's I can buy
I
it.
got it.
Now, okay, wait a minute. Is the fishing not coming with this whole marriage thing? Are you not
They
being
have
brought into
not.
the fishing?
I've been promised a few fishing trips. I just hadn't hadn't been on any, so I'm waiting to get on.
This spring,
This is spring, yeah.
once it's basketball season.
Yeah,
is
once
over.
basketball season will.
Okay, we
yes,
neglected to mention that you are also an educator and a coach.
I am. Yes.
And you're over the river there in South
In
Carolina.
South Carolina, in Westminster, at West Oak High School.
West Oak.
Yeah, go West Oak, go Warriors. Yes, and I love it. Great people over there, and I enjoy it. But like them, it was. I think it was more of a calling. I don't know if it was in my blood. I just always felt like me coming from the conditions that I was in and was able to make something better of my life, I always feel it on my heart to reach out and help young people. So I have an affinity for the troubled kids, the ones that the teachers are like, I can't do nothing. Those are the ones that I kind of...
God bless you, though.
Yeah, I know. Takes a lot of patience.
Yes, but
Yeah.
having traveled the road that you did, working so hard to get that basketball scholarship, and then traveling in Europe, being exposed to all those different cultures, the kids probably respond to you.
They do. They love to hear stories, and they because
bet they
none of them can understand outside of their world. So I give them that perspective that
That's
I've
right.
been in your world, and then this is how you get outside of
How
it.
you broaden yourself. That is awesome. What did you study in school?
Speech and communications.
So did I.
Yeah, see that?
See?
Yes.
We're natural communicators.
Natural communicators,
That's
natural
right.
talkers. Yep.
Which helps you in a lot of ways, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it did.
Good, well-rounded. kind
Good,
of
well-rounded. I didn't flub a lot of interviews. I was always ready for the camera and the newspaper.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, and I go
Maya's
around.
like,
Yeah, she does. I go around. I can give speeches, and I'm not super nervous.
Yeah.
You know, too many places.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's an awesome story.
Thank you.
And so, Maya, you're Ed talks about being kind of there for the troubled kids and reaches out. What's your experience in education? You said, I love when at the beginning when I said that you were at the middle school and you said, "Oh, my babies, hey, my babies." I think that is so. Do they just love you? I mean, do you have that kind of relationship?
I do, and it was
does
a
she?
total trap.
So lucky.
I don't have the story that everybody says, oh, I grew up wanting to be a teacher. I grew up not wanting to be a teacher. I said,
Sorry, but I
everybody,
kind of understand that.
everybody's a teacher, and I said, you guys don't make enough money.
Right.
I'm going to be here to make some money.
I'm gonna make
and I
money,
went
yeah.
to college, and I picked a major, and I switched it, and then I switched again, and I had 5 majors that I took classes in.
Did you?
Before I said, you know, I don't really have anything else to major in. Let me try education. And so I just changed to education, and I went into a 4th grade class, and I said, oh, no. I said, will you please change my major to just math, maybe? And she said, I just want you to stick it out. Just try 5th grade. I said, okay. And I went into a 5th grade class. Excuse me, ma'am, will you please get me out of here? I'm not going to be okay. And she said,
Elementary school was not for you.
I went to 6th grade, and I couldn't do 6th grade. And I said, really, you're just wasting my time. Please get me away from these small children.
Yeah, I'm not going to be any benefit to
I'm
them.
not.
Yeah.
We're wasting time here.
Yeah.
Let me go be an engineer or something. Let me
Yes,
try something else.
right.
And she said, wait until you go. If you do 7th and 8th grade and you still don't like it, then I'll sign off. And then I did student teaching in 7th grade, and I fell in love with them.
Oh,
She really
So
does.
I
That is her age.
found my niche
You found your
with
niche.
them, and I loved them, and they loved me, and I was like, oh, we're like a little family. And I didn't have any kids, and so they were like my children.
The awkward, goofy age. Those.
I was
I'm
just
so
going to say
awkward and
that.
goofy.
I was just, except you weren't. When he was in 7th and 8th grade, he had it all together. But nowadays, kids in the 7th and 8th grade are kind of
What I love about them is that their boyfriends and girlfriends are their world, but they don't want to take showers and brush their teeth. It's like they can't wait to get a kiss, but they don't want to take care of hygiene. And it's just, I love them.
That's so funny.
Yes.
I just got a whiff of Axe in your classroom because I'm sure when my boys were in the 7th grade, they covered themselves in Axe cologne, Axe deodorant. They never bathed.
Never bathed.
no.
Yes, they're all.
No.
Well, one of them I couldn't get out of the shower. The other one wouldn't bathe. But they were always, and we'd get in the car and I'd be like, my God, I want to roll the windows down. It was so bad. They would just bathe in it.
You spent 30 minutes on your hair and you didn't brush your teeth.
Yes.
But yes,
Yes.
that's the stage I love.
People who don't teach may not understand that. They may think, well, you either love teaching or you don't. But you were able to see the developmental stages of each of these kids' ages and decide, I'm of no benefit here. This does not appeal to me.
I coached high school. I coached, and I said I can't even coach them.
No,
I had to go back
not high
and coach
school
middle
either,
school. I couldn't. My sister teaches kindergarten. I
she
sat
loved
in her
it. That's how
kindergarten
she-
class, and she loves it. And
She loves kindergarten. That's it.
That's it, the kindergarten. Did you, when Maya was saying, Dad, I don't think I want to do this education route. I'm going to study something else. What did you say?
Keep looking. Keep trying. Keep trying. Just don't give up. Don't give up.
Did you think she was actually going to go do engineering or sales or?
Not really.
design
I
or-
thought in the end, she would probably like to
did.
teach. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
thought I
you
would
saw
do
it in her, didn't
hair and
you?
makeup for the stars. Like I thought I was
Right.
going to do
Right.
something else.
Yeah, she thought she was
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah, when you were, in high school and in college, you probably envisioned your whole life that did not involve a 7th grade classroom.
Absolutely not. Or the 7th grade classroom paycheck. That's really what it was. I was like, if I'm going to go to college, then I want a job that will actually pay.
In the private
And then
sector where you can make
you
big
learn
bucks.
that that's not the most important thing.
That's right.
Yes.
You do have to learn that, though,
That
right?
is true, too.
Because especially as you mentioned, coming from a disadvantaged situation, it seems like everything.
It does.
Doesn't it?
It does. It seems like that was.
If only I had this then.
Correct.
If only we had more money then. And it's only, I think, later when you realize that's not the driver.
Right. Right.
And having enough is one thing.
Right.
That's for sure. But then, after that, that being the driver. When you were, say, 12 in that awkward age, where did you think you were going to be? Because you were not dreaming of basketball at that point.
Not quite. I wasn't thinking of basketball. You know what? I didn't have too many dreams. I wanted to be like my dad. I know that.
You didn't have too many dreams? Because kids are always saying, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you just didn't think that far
I didn't
ahead.
think that far ahead.
A lot of people don't.
They don't.
Get
I
boys
didn't have that.
especially.
Yeah, boys, we don't think we're in the right now.
Yeah.
And especially if you come from rough situations like I did, you were just like, I just hope I have a home to go to. I hope I got food.
Yeah.
I hope somebody doesn't get shot the next week.
Yeah.
And, I wanted, at the time, my dad was like, he was a Sunday school teacher. He was a lot like Mr. Fauch, just very active. He picked people up. Hey, you want to go to church? Go on church. He was always bringing always somebody to church. And he was always, so I'm just like, well, I just hope people think of me, like my dad. And then when I got into sports is when I got to high school, I started thinking. So middle school, not so much. High school is where I started getting the dreams.
And you had that very important coach.
That coach
saw something
he really drove me. Like he was you don't want to say all coaches are like the crazy formula works, but it worked for him. He was a little nutty, one of those guys that run up and down screaming
Like he does now. He's the nutty coach now.
I'm the nutty coach. I pretty much emulate him.
But you are the guy. You are that guy for your kids.
That's
and
true.
there's, in probably 15 years, there's going to be a kid sitting somewhere talking to somebody saying, there was this coach, Coach Geth, and he was always on me to do better and to, So that's, I wonder sometimes if educators realize the magnitude of their influence.
True. I don't think you do at the time. You're just trying to, at the time, you're just trying to get this kid to run the right play. Just just go where I tell you.
Right now,
and do that.
Yeah.
Then that just carries over.
Yeah. And as long as your mom and Mrs. Fauch was in the school system, she was probably that person for so many.
Absolutely.
So many.
Absolutely.
So many. Because the one thing, your family is beloved in this community. I know y'all probably know that,
really?
but yes. Yes.
They know us?
Yes. You're
Yes,
famous.
they do.
You're why famous, the YMCA famous.
I got to give
There's a whole song
shout
about
out here at the YMCA because that's how I met. That's how you and I first became acquainted through Miss Loretta King there at the Y. And she introduced me as her classmate. She introduced you to me as her classmate. And I have seen you many times at the Y. What do you do at the Y?
Basically, workout. What kind of workouts?
Yeah.
I like cardio, great cardio equipment there. And if you want to flex your muscles, plenty of equipment to lift, a lot of steel to move. And then we have the
That's
track.
right.
And I still play basketball with my grandkids.
I've seen you there a number
play
of times with your
basketball,
grandkids.
yeah. Oh,
You're
yes.
repeating what you did with your kids
Exactly,
with your
with the
grandkids.
grandkids.
Isn't
He does.
that awesome?
That
He
is
really
true. He
does.
really
Oh my
does.
gosh,
He
that
really
is-
does.
Yeah, I have 5 grandboys, taught all them how to swim also.
Oh, that's good.
Well, you're at the Y.
Yes.
Does he work out when he's at the Y?
Well, I don't know. I have seen him upstairs, but I'm usually talking.
Because he
he
always
usually
comes home
Let's just
with
have him
stories
talking.
about who he talked to at the Y. And my mom used to say, if you're really working out, why is your belly still big? So I was just trying to get somebody to back up the workout story.
Confess, I don't know that I've seen him move some steel, as you say.
So he may just
But then it's probably because I'm just talking. I'm sitting on one of the machines. Does that count?
Hey,
But I see somebody and I need to talk to him, so we stop chatting. But that's, to me, that's what makes the Y so special, is because when you're not working every day, and I guess you're retired now, right?
Yes, sir.
And so, see, when you're not in a social environment every day, the Y sort of becomes your social environment,
I can see that.
which is really cool
Yeah,
to see
it
the
is.
friendships develop at the Y, which is great.
Exactly.
So, but that
thing
makes
is
me
now,
laugh.
you know, we have Y America, so we can go wherever we are. We can go to the Y.
And you told me that. You've been to several.
Yeah, and I go to Anderson now. Try to go 3 days a week to swim. Love swimming. That's
And you
my
swim
number
for
one.
fitness.
Swim for fitness.
Swimming for fitness is supposed to be really good.
Yes,
Now, why are you active because you've always been active, or are you active because your doctor said got to get these numbers down? Are you active because you have energy? Why is it important to be active?
Well, even from day one, you know, I've been an athlete, and it's just looking around and seeing people who at age 60 who's having problems, and I just, you know, so I just started going to the Y to so that I could be able to walk, you know,
Right.
later on in life,
Right.
and now it's a way of life for me.
I don't ever remember you not being active. Like, even when we were playing sports, he was coaching us. So he coached my softball teams. So while we're practicing, he's always doing stuff. I don't remember you not being active ever.
Well, I slowed down when I started following them. You know, Earl was playing football at Georgia, so that was a weekend. Every weekend we were gone. Slowed down then, and while he was playing, my daughter Monica was playing basketball, so I had to follow her. And then Kenya came up and started following him. Then Maya, so I missed a lot of the time where I could really get myself in shape.
That would
So-
just be so fun, though. Can you imagine having?
I wouldn't trade that.
I've got to go see my son play football today, and then tomorrow I'm going to go see my daughter play
If you like the
basketball.
sports, because I brought out a new sport when I found out I was allergic to the sun and I had to give up softball. I switched over to volleyball, and he didn't have any knowledge of any volleyball stuff.
But I had to go watch it.
He supported it. And he was just like, "Oh, paint drying," but he still showed up.
Brother watch paint dry. Yeah.
I don't know what y'all are doing.
But I still, I got, once I learned the game,
Yeah.
you know, then start watching a little bit better.
Yeah.
See,
But it was
you
tough at
supported
first.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Went to Atlanta for that too.
But you say it with such humility too, that you just stepped from one sport into another and became really good at. You just switched sports, and
I did switch sports.
amazing.
I was kind of forced into it, but it was a really fun sport. I was
Yeah.
able to be super successful.
Do you remember when you first walked in to play volleyball? Had you played as a little kid? Is that
No.
You just walked in, you're like, okay, what do
I
I
was
do?
a freshman, and I talked to my friends, and I said, I'm going to have to switch over. Do you
Yeah.
guys want to switch?
Yeah.
And so some of my friends came and switched with me,
Yeah.
and we learned together. And
Yeah.
I just picked it up pretty quickly.
And she's a great softball player. Could hit the ball too.
great?
So I was looking maybe at a scholarship in softball, and then but she
Right.
didn't like the sun, so I knew
The
then.
sun was bad for
yeah,
you.
it was pretty bad for me.
Yeah.
And so when you came to Hartwell, I guess you didn't live in Hartwell, Ed, when you first met Maya. When you first came to Hartwell, did you look at it and say, I can't live here? This place doesn't have a movie theater. it
Yeah,
doesn't have a
I made a few jokes about.
Yeah, because you were from a bigger city.
I was from a bigger city. At the time, I was living in Spartanburg.
Okay.
Look, she won't let me claim. I lived in Inman.
Which is a lot like Hartwell.
But I was
passed the
never
same
in it. I was
cows.
never in Inman. I moved. I worked in Spartanburg, so I always considered myself
Yeah, kind of a city.
from the city.
Well, you know, Spartanburg and Greenville is nice.
It's
both
very
of them.
nice.
You
It's
can
very
find
nice.
anything in the world.
You
at
can.
this place.
You can. It's really nice.
good.
So I came down and, I've had a few jokes. But the one thing I love about Hartwell that you can't replace are the people. The people here are very, very good. And you were right. Everybody knows the Fouches.
Yes. You are in like Flynn.
I was in like Flynn. I came to a family reunion and I was like, this is lovely. This is real nice. They all really love. This is not fake. They really love each other. They don't fight. They don't.
He asked me that at one of our family reunions. He said,
"Is there gonna be any
are y'all
fight?"
gonna fight? We don't fight each other.
Fight. Family reunion.
And I said, people fight their family.
I can't.
We have fun.
Yes, that's awesome.
I came from a family reunion.
When you get a family reunion together, is it sizable? For a lot of people?
That's a lot of
I mean,
people.
how many people are you talking about?
Always
20?
finish.
30?
Well, it depends on which. Because we had a bigger one with, between 300 and 400 people. And now.
300 and 400? I'm thinking 20 and 30.
Now we really only get together with his siblings and their kids. So we have somewhere between 75 and 100.
75 to 100.
Just my mom and dad.
And that's the small one.
Yeah,
Isn't that great?
And if you see a Fouch, F-O-U-C-H, in America, then we're related. We're the only Fouches in
Really?
America now. F-O-U-C-H.
Now, have you gotten with Miss Loretta King for your genealogy?
I've we look back and I pretty much know where we came from. My family is from Lincoln County. Okay, Lincoln County, Georgia.
Okay.
We're off the Goldman. My dad's granddad was off the Goldman plantation. Okay. And at that point, Goldman plantation.
Okay. Was that in Lincoln County?
Yeah, in Lincoln County. We came from the Goldman plantation, and they couldn't name us Goldmans, so that's where the Fouch came in. Now we do have there's a family here in Hartwell who's from that Goldman plantation, and we kind of claim each other.
Wow.
I don't know if you know Walter Gordon. Do you know Walter Gordon in town? Pam
do.
Gordon.
Yeah.
Pam was a Goldman. Her family were Goldmans.
Interesting.
So we've talked
So
and
you
talked.
claim
and
each
we
other.
claim each other. Yeah.
I love that. Does she
Pam
come to
and
the
her sister.
reunions though?
She did. Actually, I was going to invite her the last time, and I got busy and forgot it. But I wanted her to come to that
awesome.
one just to see. But we're off that Goldman plantation. We've traced it all the way back.
That's
The
amazing.
Goldman plantation in Lincoln County.
It's really hard, particularly African American genealogy. It's really difficult because of the records and the plantations often didn't keep records, and it's just really tough to trace. But you're fortunate you can trace back that far.
Oh, yes. Back to the Goldmans. Yeah.
Back to the
It's in our history.
And from Lincoln County, they migrated up through Elbert and then Hart.
Well, from Lincoln County to Hartwell to Augusta, then everywhere else, but basically came up here. And again, for work. Lincoln County was small.
Smaller.
Came to Hartwell and kind of set up. When one family comes, then that draws other families.
Sure.
Just like Chicago, when my brothers went there, then that drew my sisters there and my other brothers.
Yeah, because
there.
they'd have some Fouches
Set
in
up,
Chicago.
You have to have them.
We're lucky you didn't bring the Fouches to Salt Lake City.
I tried. It was too cold for them because I like cold. I really don't do hot and heat very well. But
That's funny. What else? Tell me about the future for the Fouches. Just continue to grow the family and continue to bring up educators. Your grandkids are young though; they're not anywhere ready to.
But not yet. No, they're still in school and.
We're still grooming them for scholarships.
Exactly.
Listen, if anybody can do it, this one
I was
can.
about to say he will have them ready.
the first one got one. He got a scholarship to Tusculum University.
He's a football player here. Cameron
Oh my
Fouch.
goodness! Oh, I know who he is. He played soccer with my kids.
That's right. He's a great soccer player also.
Yes.
And then he got a concussion, at his first year.
That's
So he had to drop
terrible.
out of football. And then the other grandsons are athletes also.
Okay.
Have one that's just finishing school. They actually won the state championship in a Christian school in Atlanta.
Wow.
And my youngest one is 7 now, but at 3 years old, he passed the swim test at 3 years old.
3? Most people aren't even thinking of.
Swim the length.
He was really good.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was
He's a good swimmer. And now I can't keep up with him. He's so fast.
Oh, wow.
He really
He's
is.
an athlete.
That's
He's a football player.
That's good.
So all of them play football, basketball.
Yeah. Still athletic.
Yeah, still all of them
That's
athletes.
fantastic.
Still
That is great.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, this has been so fun. See, that hour went like that.
It really
went
did.
so fast. This has been so fun, and I so appreciate y'all being here with me and talking about old times, new times, and everything in between.
Well, do you know more about us now? since you
Yes, I
talked
do.
already?
Yes,
We
I
appreciate
do.
the invitation
Yeah,
and
really do appreciate
allowing
it.
people to just pop on.
Just pop
Yeah,
up, just
listen,
letting the strays just come in.
I love it. I'm so glad. This is good.
Yeah, and I didn't know. Did you know he was coming?
No,
Okay.
No,
I did not. But you know what? This
just
is
showed up.
great.
Well,
He came to the middle school to speak to the basketball team because
Yeah.
they're playing in the tournament now.
I just gave
And
him
so
a
he
pep
gave
talk.
them a little pep talk. And
That
then
was nice.
Yeah.
since he was out, he kind of just
I just said,
came
hey,
here with me.
just come on, see what you guys are doing.
How
Hey.
nice for us at HeartCom that you could come over and that you happen to be in town today. That's great.
It just worked out great.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all again so much. This was
I
fun.
enjoyed this.
Appreciate
This
you
was
inviting
fun.
Good.
This was fun.
Thank you.
Appreciate
I
it.
enjoyed it too.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, so join us next week, and who knows who we'll have on next week. But we'll have fun. Thank you so much.
Yes.